The location at which you are looking at your trend line liquidity and then your equal highs and lows, it matters very much. When you just identify these equal lows and then highs at any point in the market, then you will be trapping yourself. Let me explain this before we go in. If we look here, for me to explain just the equal lows and highs, you have this low that has been created, broke structure, and then it came back to that low without taking it out. This is what we call equal low. So when we turn it up, then it become equal highs. And this is just the idea about it. The most important thing is where you are looking at it in the market. But sometimes we can have it come 3 times. In this case, it broke structure, created this low, it came back to it, and then it came back to it again. This now becomes trend line liquidity, no longer equal highs and then lows. You can draw a trend line like this, and then you'll be able to know that this is what liquidity. The most important thing is that it should not take out the previous low that it created. If it takes out that low, then it is something else. It's not equal lows or maybe trend line liquidity. And the most important thing, I have to repeat this, is the location. Where are you looking at this particular liquidity? It's very, very important. You have to stop looking at every liquidity, because this is going to be the trap. This is the trap I have been in, and I want to help you get rid of it. If we take this one here, normally you want to look at how price has started. If we draw this here, now we can see that we make this way. We have equal highs here, and this, if we look at it, price came all the way down from here. The very high that it creates, if it goes back to mitigate that high without taking it out, you want to be looking at that particular point as equal highs and lows. Also, when it breaks, I have a setups that you can be able to use and determine it. And also the structure I taught before. If you watch those videos, you will understand. But when the structure is being created and then the move starts, that's when it starts to drop the liquidity for people to trade and follow. Then it drops these equal highs and lows, because this low that is being created first and then creates this high is kind of like the first or maybe the second move, and they want to trap most people there. And that's the location you have to be looking at. Normally, you don't get price to go through. In this case, this was equal highs. Price came, took them out, but it didn't trade through, but it rather broke. In this case, you have to flip the coin, and then you come here. If you, based on structure, you see that this is the low that broke this. Sometimes they will come and drop liquidity into that low. Then it now becomes equal lows here. You want to be looking at a setup, and then either the very high or the very low, that's the liquidity, or the internal liquidity it created. It can just create more highs and lows in relative to that high, making it equal highs and lows. Here, this is the same thing. It happened. I think this should clear some little doubts, and then we have to go into the charts to explain more into this. If we look at this price action here, we can see the price created this low, and then it went to break that high, came back, and then created this low again, and then broke structure. Now, these lows are relative equal lows, and you do not want to be trading these lows. I have made these mistakes, and I don't want you to make them again. These lows here, you never want to be trying to buy them. Either wait for price to take them out before you start buying, or when price takes them out, then you look for confirmation to enter. You can see in this case, we have price come back to take those lows out, and after taking the lows out, inside this price action, you can find your confirmation, and then you trade price to the upside. And we can see price came all the way back to take the liquidity on top of this high. This is external liquidity. I've done a video on that. If we come here again, now after price has taken this external liquidity, we can see very well that this was the major low that has taken out this high. you don't have to recognize mind this one because this is too high. This is the low, but before that low was being created, there was this low that was also being created. Now making these two lows equal lows, we have this, it went a broke structure, came back and then created this low and broke it. This is too clean for you to be trading it. Sometimes it can come like this and still trade all the way up, but I will not be taking this trade. Because that's not going to be the right move. It will not go through. I want to come when price has now taken this equal lows like this, then you can come here, look for your entries, and then you can buy the market to the upside. And you can see that we are looking at it immediately after the low was being created. And also we can see the lowest low that is here. We have this low, and then that low. Also, this is trend line liquidity and it's the lowest low of the structure. Hence, price can come back anytime to take this out because that's now going to be the liquidity that is left here. And you have to be watchful because this is a location you want to be looking at the liquidity. And if with time, I will be able to just say everything about the strategy I use, but you look at this also in terms of SNR and then some setups. If we come to the line chart here, what I do, this location here is a setup for me. I don't want to get into this. And this is the very support that was able to break here. Hence, we have a setup there. And now we have our liquidity lying just above it. That makes this place very important for you to take notice of. And you can see price comes back and tap exactly on that location. And then we move to the upside. So after identifying your liquidity, you don't just want to be trading anywhere. You want to identify a setup and then you want to find a location. And then from there, you can take the trade to the upside. Also, in terms of the trend line liquidity, we can see that price came all the way here and then created this trend line liquidity. We created this low, then we broke it, then we broke it again. These lows were just being created without being taken out. You can see how they mitigated each other without being taken out. You never want to be looking at something like this to buy from. We can see price came here and then it went back. Focus. The real moves will come when this is taken out. From here, after they drop the liquidity, you now have to ask yourself questions. Why did they drop this liquidity here? Because if we go to the line chart here, we have a setup here. This is a setup. We have this highs here that has broken this highs here, this low here, this lows rather, to the downside. And that means that price has to sell from this point down. Price has to sell from that point down, but it failed. And since it failed, they will have to drop liquidity to that lows and then come back to them later. Also, if you listen to my videos before, you can see that this small thing here is going to be liquidity because it is the one that has been able to break this high here. This is a major high. There is a gap here we don't see, but in the line chart you can see that that's price is the weekend. So that's also liquidity, and these liquidities are going to be telling you now, look below me. There is something you need to pay attention to. From this, I want to now look left, identify a setup, and this is my setup. I will talk about this later. You can see this high here, broken this low, and then this low here. It's supposed to sell, but it failed. Now, I'm going to look at the high that has caused all that break, which is this one. I put this one there. Let me make this a line. And then we go back here. You can see that now price has taken all this liquidity, taking even this liquidity. And look at that. Exactly on that. If I zoom, you can see exactly on that. They tap exactly on that one. And then price push to the upside. This is it about the trend line liquidity, which is here, and then the equal lows and then equal highs. I don't want to make long videos. So I will be making more price action on this to be able to explain to you to understand the price action better. If this makes sense to you, comment more examples on this, more chart examples on this, and I will be dropping more videos on this.